my channel. I'm here today to do my February wrap-up, even though as I only read 4 books, I don't really have that much to tell you about, especially since 2 of them are Beauty and the Beast retellings, which I will be saving for a series that I'm in the middle of filming, which I'm calling my 7 Days of Beauty and the Beast series. I'll be posting 1 video a day in the week leading up to the cinema release of the live-action adaptation starring Emma Watson. So my first video will go up on Saturday the 11th of March, and then my final 7th video will go up on Friday the 17th of March, which is when the film comes out. And in that series there are going to be 4 videos covering Beauty and the Beast retellings. There are 6 adult retellings and 6 YA retellings, and these are 2 of the YA retellings. So I'll be talking fully about these then. For now, I'll just tell you that this one here of Beast and Beauty by Stacey J, I gave 2.5 to 3 out of 5 stars. It's a futuristic Beauty and the Beast retelling where there are some people who live inside these domed cities, and there are others who live outside in the desert who have evolved to look a certain way that means that they are now referred to as the monstrous. One day, one of the monstrous breaks into a domed city called Yuan to steal these roses in the hope that they will save his starving people. In doing so, he meets the blind Princess Isra, who is being raised to be a sacrifice for the greater good of her people. Then this one here is called Roses by G.R. Mannering, or Rose Mannering as she's known on YouTube. She does have a booktube channel. This is the story of a girl who is born with amethyst eyes, silvery skin and white hair in a world where magic bloods are increasingly persecuted, and in fact when she's a little older she has to escape into the hill lands to escape magical persecution, and she finds herself living pretty much next door to an enchanted forest in which, as I'm sure you've guessed, there lives a hideous beast. This one I gave 4 out of 5 stars, but it was so nearly 4.5 to 5 out of 5 stars. But again, you will hear more when I do a proper review of these books in that series I have just mentioned. That leaves these 2 here, and as you can see, this one looks like it's the wrong way around, which is because I just have it here as representation. The first book I read in February was called Future Sex by Emily Witt, which I have done a full review video for, which I will link down below. And I got it out of the library, so I don't have a physical copy of it. This is a non-fiction collection of essays. They read like essays. They're by a journalist called Emily Witt, who finds herself single in her 30s and sets out to chart kind of the modern version of free love and the options that are open to her romantically and sexually and relationship-wise, which takes her into some very personal and intimate territory. It's quite a good book for the voyeurs out there, and I would argue that we're all voyeurs, so I gave this book, what did I give it? Sorry about that, I completely blanked and had to go check. I gave Future Sex 3 out of 5 stars. I found it quite wordy and pretentious in places, and so dry quite often that I had to force myself through it, even though if you look at the chapters, they all sound very interesting and titillating even. There is internet dating, orgasmic meditation, internet porn, live webcams, polyamory, Burning Man, birth control and reproduction, and I actually found that chapter on birth control and reproduction really interesting because, well, I personally haven't really stopped to think about the lack of development in that area and what that means for us as women who are arguably being forced to suppress our optimum biology because we're forced to make the best of the existing economic and sociological framework in which we live, rather than making that framework work for us. It was very interesting, and I think I explained it better in the review, which again I will link down below. So check that one out if you find that subject interesting. I don't regret reading it, but it's not a very positive read. The ending left me feeling quite unsettled because there is no conclusion, and I didn't expect a conclusion for myself and just women en masse, but there also didn't seem to be much resolution for Emily Witt herself, and if nothing else, the book should at least have arrived at a personal conclusion. Next, the final book I read was a comic which has words by Mike Carey and art by Peter Gross. The comic is called The Unwritten, Tommy Taylor and the Bogus Identity. And this is the perfect comic for book lovers because it is about writers through history in the moments and in the places where well-known stories and characters were conceived. Obviously this is only the first volume, so I still have more questions than answers, but it's you meet Oscar Wilde, Kipling, Mark Twain. There's at one point you're with a bunch of writers discussing, I think it is the horror genre. That's what the art looks like. I must say I found the speech bubbles in this very well laid out. Very easy to follow. And actually I should show you my favourite picture here, which is like the chapter separator. It's this one here. It's got a man basically coming out of a typewriter trapped inside a sheet of paper, which is perfect for the story because it's about a man called Tom Taylor, who was the real-life inspiration for his father's most famous creation, who was called Tommy Taylor. And Tommy Taylor owes much to Harry Potter, and in fact this book references Harry Potter and the similarities between him and Tommy Taylor. The author of Tommy Taylor disappeared about 10 years ago, and since then his son, Tom Taylor, has been sort of attending conventions in his stead, doing signings, posing for photographs. He's kind of the real-life Tommy Taylor, and a lot of people call him Tommy, which he hates because he's trying to break free, even though, you know, he's tried multiple occupations and none of them stick. This just seems to be all he's good for. And then one day at a convention, a journalist, or is she a journalist? Someone stands up and asks him questions about his past, and it turns out that he doesn't really have any real records. A lot of them are forgeries, and a lot of photographs that he thought were photographs of him are photographs of someone else. And they begin to question the identity of Tom Taylor. And then the speculation is that he is in fact Tommy Taylor, and he came out of the book itself. His father wrote him into existence, which is a really interesting concept. And I will be checking more of this out. It ended on a little bit of a cliffhanger, and it's quite gory too. Like it's got this guy with a scythe slashing people to pieces. And Tom Taylor is quite a nice protagonist to follow. He's quite snarky, which I like. So I'm interested to see where this goes, and that is literally all I have to tell you about. The next time I have a video, it's going to be the first in my 7 Days of Beauty and the Beast series, so I hope I will see you there. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Let me know what you thought. And I'm just sorry there wasn't more. It's too busy to read at the moment. Thanks very much for watching, guys. Bye bye.